everyone, I'm Lily, and I'm super excited to have you here. Welcome to our channel, Easy Peasy English. If you want to learn English the easy way and speak confidently in real life, you're in the right place. Let's get started with Ryan before you go.
Hi guys, I'm Ryan.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
You know that exact agonizing moment when you just hit a wall.
Oh yeah, like an absolute brick wall.
Right. And I don't mean hitting a physical wall in like a marathon or some extreme sporting event. I mean hitting a wall on a random Tuesday evening at your desk.
The everyday burnout.
Exactly. You are sitting there staring at an English textbook, or maybe you're just standing in your kitchen looking at a sink completely overflowing with dirty dishes.
Yes, the worst feeling.
And your brain just screams, I am done. I cannot do 1 single second more of this. I mean, we have all been there, right?
Oh, it's the universal friction point, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is that exact, highly uncomfortable second where your best intentions just violently collide with your end-of-the-day exhaustion.
Right.
And, well, if we're being completely honest, usually the exhaustion wins out.
Oh, absolutely it does. It's that heavy, undeniable urge to just quit, walk away, and, go lie down. But today, we are taking a deep dive into a really fascinating source.
Yeah, transcript for the YouTube channel, Mr. English Channel.
Right. And it completely flips that exact moment of friction on its head. So our mission today, for you, the listener, is to figure out how to hijack that feeling.
Take you on a journey, really.
Exactly. A journey from that overwhelming, heavy sensation of being completely drained all the way to the incredibly satisfying moment of earning a well-deserved reward.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Well, right off the bat, I do want to clarify something about the source.
Sure.
Because this material is beautifully tailored to provide advice for learners who feel discouraged and just want to quit their studies.
Specifically English learners. Right?
Yeah, specifically someone dealing with the sheer mental fatigue of acquiring new vocabulary and grammar in a totally new language.
Which is exhausting.
Exactly. But the psychology behind this advice, it's completely universal. I mean, it applies to anyone, anywhere, who feels paralyzed by a massive task and just wants to surrender to the sofa.
So true. Before we get into the actual tactics of how to do that, we need to look at the core mantra that the entire source is built around.
The big rule. The big rule, yeah. It says, don't stop when you're tired, stop when you're done.
Which sounds incredibly intense.
Right. It sounds great on a bumper sticker, but we really need to define what done actually means in this specific context.
And that is a crucial distinction, because in this framework, done doesn't mean, it doesn't mean I did a lot of work today, or I made a really good effort.
No gold stars just for trying.
No, not at all. The source is very rigid here. Done means the job is at zero.
Zero.
It is completely finished. The homework assignment is turned in. The meal is cooked. The specific lesson module is completed.
So there's no gray area.
None. You cross the finish line or you don't.
But I mean, that is exactly where the natural human conflict comes into play, isn't it?
Totally.
Because our bodies and our brains absolutely crave immediate comfort. The source material talks about how the sofa is literally calling your name.
The bed, the pillow, the television.
Yeah. Yes. Work, by definition, is inherently uncomfortable, and your brain is constantly scanning the room for an escape hatch, a way back to comfort.
And we really shouldn't judge ourselves for that, because it is entirely natural.
Right.
I mean, we are biologically wired by millions of years of evolution to conserve energy whenever possible.
Survival mode.
Exactly. So when you are studying a complex subject like learning the grammar rules of English,
yeah,
your brain is burning a massive amount of glucose.
Wow.
It's performing hard physical work on a cellular level. So your brain sends a distress signal. It says, stop. Go find a comfortable chair.
Go watch a television show in your native language, right?
Yeah, somewhere where we don't have to burn so many calories.
Okay, but let's play devil's advocate for a second.
Sure.
Because I can hear a listener right now saying, sometimes I'm not just mentally tired. Sometimes I'm physically completely burnt out.
Right. Genuine fatigue.
Yeah. So does this whole push through the pain mentality risk pushing people into toxic productivity? How do we distinguish between the everyday friction of a daily habit and genuine, I need to go to sleep burnout?
That is a fantastic point,
Yeah.
and honestly an essential caveat. We are not talking about chronic exhaustion that requires medical rest or serious life adjustments.
Okay.
We are talking about the daily momentary friction of routine habits. It's the difference between running on a broken leg versus just not wanting to go for a jog because it's slightly chilly outside.
Oh, that makes sense.
The source is targeting that momentary deceptive fatigue, the kind that magically disappears the second you sit on the couch.
Right.
Because if you listen to that specific craving and you stop just because you are temporarily tired, you usually end up feeling sad or bad about yourself.
Because there's no progress. You just gave up.
Exactly.
You traded the long-term pride of accomplishing something for the short-term comfort of a cushion.
You experience the emotional hangover of quitting.
Emotional hangover. I like that.
Whereas if you push through that initial wave of fatigue and actually finish the task, you end up feeling what the speakers call tired and proud.
Tired and proud.
You are still physically or mentally exhausted, sure, but your emotional state is completely inverted. You feel capable.
The source gives this perfect everyday example to illustrate this, and I guarantee everyone listening right now has experienced the kitchen sink scenario.
Oh, yes. The classic trap.
Imagine you just cooked a massive dinner. You ate the food. It was delicious. You are incredibly full, and now you were just so tired.
The food coma.
Exactly. You look over at the kitchen, and it is a disaster zone. Plates, glasses, sticky pots, pans everywhere.
It's a nightmare.
It is a big, dirty job, and that comfortable sofa is sitting right there, practically whispering to you.
It's the ultimate temptation to say the most dangerous magic word in productivity.
Which is?
Tomorrow.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes, I will do it tomorrow. I'll have more energy tomorrow.
It's a lie we tell ourselves to feel better in the moment.
It really is. But if you actually delay that cleanup until tomorrow, what really happens? You wake up, the morning is supposedly brand new, but you walk into the kitchen to make coffee, and boom, there are the crusty, dirty plates.
Yeah, the source calls this a sad morning.
A sad morning. It is the instant heavy regret of unfinished work. It sets a terrible tone for the entire day.
Right.
But on the flip side, if you make the hard choice right after dinner, if you ignore the sofa for just 20 minutes and push through the physical tiredness to wash the plates, wipe the table, and just empty the sink, you wake up proud.
And when you look at that dynamic, this raises an important question about how we actually define happiness, both in the moment versus happiness later.
Okay, tell me more.
In that specific moment after dinner, sitting on the sofa feels like happiness.
Definitely.
But it's a trap. It's a hollow, temporary comfort that directly leads to regret. True happiness, the kind of happiness that actually sustains us and, builds our self-esteem, it comes from progress.
Not from avoiding things.
Exactly. It comes from moving forward, tackling the dirty dishes, learning new things, and keeping the promises we make to ourselves.
Wait, so if I understand this correctly, the actual joy isn't in avoiding the work.
Right.
The joy is the transition from working to resting. It's that exact second the work hits zero. I mean, that's a total paradigm shift.
That is precisely the core insight here. We have to learn to replace our immediate biological need for physical comfort with the deeper psychological joy of progress.
Oh.
It's about training your brain to crave the feeling of being done more than it craves the physical softness of the sofa.
But let's be real, especially for our listeners who are studying English.
Yeah, that's a long road.
If you are learning a new language, the finish line of fluency is literally years away. You cannot just power through a 5-year project in one Tuesday evening to get that magical done feeling.
No, definitely not.
Since we know the brain will always fight us for immediate comfort, and since we know logic completely fails when we are exhausted, we have to trick the brain. We have to completely change how we define a finished task, especially when progress feels agonizingly slow.
Yes, and this is where the source provides a brilliant practical strategy for defeating that sense of overwhelm.
How so?
If the mountain is too big to climb today, we don't force ourselves up the mountain, we shrink the goal.
Think about your own study sessions, right? Say you sit down to read an English book. You read 1 page, you're doing okay.
Sure.
2 pages, still doing okay. 3 pages, and suddenly your eyes are incredibly heavy. Your brain feels foggy.
The translating everything in your head, it's exhausting.
Exactly. You desperately want to close the book, grab the remote, and just turn on the TV. Because watching TV is passive and easy, but decoding English grammar is active, hard work.
Right. And if the goal you silently set for yourself was, I'm going to read this whole book today, or even I'm going to read a whole chapter, you are setting yourself up for psychological failure.
Yeah, that's just too much.
That goal is way too massive for your current energy level. When you are tired at page 3, the remaining 30 pages of that chapter look like an impossible cliff face.
Right.
So the solution isn't to force yourself to free climb that cliff when you're exhausted. The solution is to redefine the cliff.
I was trying to think of a good way to visualize this, and instead of a mountain, think about your brain's energy like a smartphone battery.
Okay, I like that.
When your phone is at 2% battery, you don't try to download a massive 4K movie file, right?
No, the phone would just die immediately.
Right. You just send a text message. When your brain is at 2%, trying to read a whole chapter of an English textbook is the 4K movie file.
Oh, okay.
Shrinking the goal is just sending the text. You match the task to your available battery life.
That is an excellent way to look at it. Instead of trying to study for 3 hours, which is just going to make you want to go straight to bed and feel guilty about it, you define a task that mathematically guarantees a sense of accomplishment.
And the source gives highly actionable ways to define these small goals, right?
They do. Set a goal for a manageable 10-minute session, or commit to reading just 2 pages.
It's nothing.
Exactly. Write exactly 5 sentences in your journal. Or, if you are truly exhausted, learn exactly 3 new words. Just 3.
3 words. I mean, that feels almost ridiculously small. But I was reading that part of the source, and here's where it gets really interesting to me.
What's that?
Successfully finishing that tiny microscopic goal often gives you a sudden, unexpected burst of energy.
Yes.
You hit the 10-minute mark, or you learn those 3 words, and you get that little hit of pride, and suddenly your brain thinks, you know what? That wasn't so bad. I can do 5 more minutes.
It creates this natural rolling momentum.
Right.
It creates momentum because you are building what psychologists call self-efficacy.
Okay, self-efficacy. For those of us who aren't psychologists, what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, it is basically the core internal belief
Right.
that you are capable of doing what you say you're going to do.
Okay.
It's a muscle. Every time you set a tiny goal and complete it, you are doing a repetition for that muscle. By guaranteeing the done feeling through these 10-minute pebbles of work, you are building lasting confidence.
So you're kind of proving it to yourself.
You're proving to yourself every single day that you can finish what you start. And that is the ultimate antidote to feeling stagnant.
Because when your English progress feels slow, it is so easy to get discouraged.
So easy. But if you have a daily, unbroken record of small, completed goals, you have undeniable, tangible proof that you are moving forward.
There is a fantastic everyday example in the source about exercise that illustrates this perfectly. Let's say your goal is to walk for 30 minutes in the park.
Okay.
You start walking. 5 minutes in, 10 minutes in, you feel great. But right at the 15-minute mark, you just hit the wall.
Oh, man.
You are suddenly exhausted, your legs are heavy, you are sweating, and right there on the path is a nice, comfortable park bench just calling your name.
Ah, the critical juncture, the moment of truth.
Exactly. You are exactly halfway to your goal, and every fiber of your being wants to stop. But if you sit down on that bench, you aren't done, you're just quitting.
Right.
So what is the solution? According to the source, the solution isn't to sit down, and it definitely isn't to force yourself to sprint the rest of the way either.
Because you'd collapse.
Yeah. The solution is just to walk slower. You take a smaller step. You just keep your feet moving until you hit that 30-minute mark.
You adjust the intensity, but you never adjust the commitment.
I love that.
You shrink the immediate expectation from walking at a brisk, athletic pace to just slowly putting one foot in front of the other so that you can still reach the ultimate goal of 30 minutes.
Right.
And when you finally hit that 30 minutes, you aren't just physically tired. You feel mentally strong. You feel genuinely happy because you kept your promise to yourself.
And then you can go sit on the bench.
Yes, exactly. Then you sit.
Which brings us to a crucial pivot in this deep dive because understanding that you need small goals is a great start. But knowing you need small goals isn't enough because in a moment of extreme exhaustion, logic completely fails.
It flies right out the window.
It does. You need something automatic to fall back on to make sure you don't abandon your studies when life gets chaotic and stressful. That's why the source emphasizes building a repeatable daily ritual.
A ritual is absolutely essential. Motivation is just a feeling, and feelings fade. They are fickle.
Very true.
A ritual is a rigid structure you can rely on when the feeling of motivation has completely vanished.
And the source breaks this down into a 3-step ritual to guarantee your tasks get finished.
Let's hear it.
Step 1 is remember the goal. You have to actively connect your daily, sometimes tedious work to your bigger, highly emotional dreams.
Okay.
When you are staring at that English book and you feel that wave of exhaustion, you cannot focus on the tiredness. You have to focus on why you are learning English in the first place.
You have to forcibly pull your focus out of the immediate physical discomfort and project it into your desired future.
Like visualizing it.
Exactly. Are you learning English so you can finally travel the world without fear? Are you learning it to find new friends in a new city?
Or a better job, right?
Yeah, are you learning it to get a better job and provide a better life for your family? When the fatigue sets in, you have to mentally visualize that specific future state. That emotional vision acts as a psychological tether, pulling you through the temporary discomfort.
That leads right into step 2 of the ritual, which is what we just talked about. Make the steps small.
Right.
Continually remind yourself that 1,000 tiny steps make a massive journey. 3 words a day, 10 minutes of reading.
You purposefully lower the barrier to entry so that the act of starting becomes virtually effortless.
But step 3 is where the real magic happens.
Oh, the best part.
Step 3 is the prize. You have to actively choose meaningful rewards, and you must strictly, almost ruthlessly, reserve them for after the work is done.
Well, when we look at the neurochemistry, what's fascinating here is how this operates. This is behavioral conditioning.
Like Pavlov's dogs kind of thing?
Essentially, yeah. When you finally sit on that couch after finishing your task, your brain releases dopamine. Over time, your brain begins to associate the sight of your English textbook with that impending dopamine hit.
Oh, wow.
You are literally rewiring your neurochemistry so that the textbook becomes a trigger for anticipation rather than a trigger for dread.
That is amazing. And the source gives such simple, beautiful examples of how to choose meaningful rewards that make finishing tasks feel deeply satisfying.
Yeah.
Like sitting on that incredibly comfortable sofa, but only after the kitchen is completely clean.
Right.
Or drinking a really nice, expensive cup of coffee, but only after you finish your 10-minute study session. Listening to your absolute favorite English song, but only after you finish your walk.
The sequencing is everything. If you reverse the order, the system collapses.
So true. When you look at this 3-step cycle, so what does this all mean for our daily lives? To me, it points to a massive paradigm shift in how we view rest itself.
How do you mean?
Well, we usually think of work and rest as opposites, right? Like they are enemies. You either work or you rest. But this source is suggesting that we need to redefine rest entirely.
Oh, I see.
Rest is not the absence of work. Rest is the prize you earn for completing the work. It means you are absolutely allowed to have fun, you are encouraged to be comfortable, but you have to earn it first.
And that reframing totally removes the guilt.
Yes.
Think about the psychological weight of unfinished tasks. When you sit on the sofa before the kitchen is clean or before your 10 minutes of studying are done, there is always an underlying anxiety.
You know you should be doing something else.
Right. You know you are procrastinating. The comfort is tainted. But when you sit on the sofa after the job is at 0, the relaxation is pure. The prize is completely unburdened by guilt.
It is the exact difference between the sad morning and the proud morning, but experienced in real time right there on your couch. So let's take a step back and recap this incredible journey we've been on today. We started by confronting the overwhelming, heavy desire to quit that universal friction point where the sofa is calling your name and your battery is at 2%.
We learn to recognize the biology behind that feeling and to ignore the siren song of immediate comfort by focusing intensely on the feeling of being done.
Right?
The goal is always to zero out the task to avoid the emotional hangover and regret of quitting.
And we figured out how to defeat the brain's sense of overwhelm by changing the analogy. We aren't climbing mountains, we are managing our battery life.
Shrinking the goals.
Right. We are taking massive, intimidating language goals and shrinking them down into tiny 10-minute pebbles. And finally, we established a bulletproof 3-step ritual.
Remember the goal, keep it small, get the prize.
Yes. Visually remembering your big emotional why, taking a microscopic step to build self-efficacy, and then rigorously defending your post-study prize so you can rewire your dopamine pathways.
You earn the rest. You don't just take it.
I want to take a second to speak directly to you, the listener, right now, especially if you are a new English learner who finds it incredibly difficult to maintain a daily study routine.
It's completely normal to struggle with that.
It is. We know, and the speakers in the source material know, that learning English is a massive, exhausting, years-long job. It is completely 100% okay to feel tired.
Absolutely.
But as the source reminds us today, you are strong. When your progress feels agonizingly slow and the grammar doesn't make sense and you just want to close the book and keep going, shrink the goal.
Take it small.
Take it just 3 words at a time. Remember your travel dreams. Remember the new friends you are going to make. Remember the life you are building. Because those minor 10-minute victories, those little bursts of pride you earn every single day, they will inevitably turn into fluency. We believe in you. Keep going.
And as you move forward with your studies, I want to leave you with one final, slightly provocative thought to ponder.
Okay, lay it on us.
We have spent this deep dive talking entirely about applying this framework to learning a language or, doing physical household chores.
Yeah.
But consider the broader implications of this psychology. If completing a simple 10-minute task can completely shift your mindset from feeling sad to feeling proud, what would happen if you applied this exact stop when you're done mentality to the emotional areas of your life?
Oh, that's really interesting. Like, what kind of emotional areas?
Well, think about the difficult conversations you've been avoiding.
Yeah.
Or mending a fractured relationship with a friend or family member.
Well, those can be exhausting, too.
Exactly. We so often walk away from those intense situations when we get emotionally tired, leaving the conflict completely unresolved and messy.
We just put it off until tomorrow.
Right. But if you treated a difficult conversation with that same small steps leading to a prize mentality, if you pushed through the emotional awkwardness and fatigue until the air was truly cleared and the issue was completely done, what kind of incredible progress could you make outside of your studies? How much lighter would your entire life feel if you decided to stop leaving emotional dishes in the sink for tomorrow?
Wow, that is powerful. Next time you hit that mental wall, whether you are staring at a heavy textbook, a literal sink full of dishes, or a difficult text message you know you need to send, remember, the wall is an illusion created by a tired brain. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. Earn that proud morning.